Hi guys, I'm Kenny Stahl. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about loneliness and why you might be feeling lonely in your life. I've made several videos on this channel talking about my experiences with loneliness, and most of that has to do with me not being able to make friends in my life and feeling like I don't fit in with people. So I want to talk about why people are lonely, and I want to go further than the basic, like, you know, you're not good at making friends, or there's nobody, you don't have friends. Like, obviously, if you don't have friends, you're going to be lonely. But I want to talk more about why that is. Where does the feeling come from? Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a ton of lonely people out there. And if you're lonely, you might actually have people around you. You might live with people. You might go to school where there's tons of people there. You might have a job where you work with people, and it's like, there are people around you. It's not like you're completely isolated in the middle of the woods somewhere. You know, it's like, why do we still feel lonely even when there's other people around us? The reason is this. I've had to put a lot of thought into this, and I'm pretty sure it comes down to two things. Number one is we want to feel understood by people. We want people to get to know the real version of who we are. If you really think about it, sometimes when you're around people that you don't know very well, you're not going to be yourself completely. You're going to pretend to be something that you're not. You're going to put on the best show for them. You're going to try to be at your best. And you'll notice with people that you're comfortable with, which usually that's what we call our friends. Our friends are the people that we're the most comfortable with. You're going to be yourself more around them, right? So that's what it is about friends that we want. There's something about human connection that is so, like, appealing that it drives us. We're drawn to it because we want to be close to somebody. We want to be comfortable with them. We want to be ourselves. And loneliness is the separation. Loneliness is when you feel separate from everyone. That's why, you know, I'm very familiar with the feeling of I just don't fit in with people. I'm very familiar with feeling like an outcast, feeling like somebody who doesn't belong. And I've always felt like that. I've always felt like there's something about me that makes me different than everyone, and because of that, nobody could possibly understand who I really am. Now, the thing that I think is the thing about this that I think is important to point out is a lot of times loneliness is just in our head. And I think this is associated with mental illness, or rather, more specifically, I think it has a lot to do with our thinking. When our thinking goes a little bit off the deep end and we start, what's the correct term here? The cognitive, I'm trying to think real quick, the cognitive distortions, right? Where we think that reality is one way, the worst way possible, when in reality things might actually be okay. A lot of times we feel like people don't understand us. We feel like there's no way that we could ever be understood by people. But I think that there's actually more, that people actually have more in common with every other human being out there than we might realize. And you might feel uncomfortable to share things about yourself with other people because you think they won't understand you. But I personally believe that most people are kind of going through the same general things, right? We're just trying to get by in life. We all have dreams. We all laugh at generally the same kind of humor, right? I mean, I think human beings psychologically are very similar, and you might think that your life is unique. You might think that you're something special, right? But I think the truth is that we might actually be able to connect with each other more than we think. And I think that it's worth trying to be more open with people, because they actually might be able to understand you, right? So that's my first point that I want to make. Number one is that we feel lonely because we feel like nobody could possibly understand us. The second point is we feel lonely because we feel like nobody will accept us. So lonely people feel lonely because they want to be understood and they want to be accepted. So the acceptance part is kind of where, you know, you might feel rejected by people. So if you're looking to get in a romantic relationship with somebody and they say no, that's them just flat out rejecting you. And that's obviously like one of the worst feelings ever. I'm sure that a lot of you guys know what that's like. And that's why a lot of you guys are lonely yourselves, is because people have rejected you in the past. And that's always a hard thing to deal with. because, you know, it's trying to connect with somebody, trying to reach out, and they just say no. So we feel lonely because people sometimes reject us. And that might get in your head. You might think that if one person rejects you, that everybody else is going to reject you. And I think the important thing to remember about this is that everybody's different. And that just because one person doesn't like you or rejects you doesn't mean that other people won't. So it's very important when you get rejected to always try to find somebody else that will accept you. Some people just are like that. Some people just don't really like anything, right? Some people just have that as a part of their personality where they just always are going to find something wrong with you. And you might even notice this yourself. You can always find something wrong with yourself. You can always find something wrong with other people. It's so easy to point out what's wrong with everything. It's so easy to think like that. That's why negative thinking is a lot more common and overpowering than positive thinking. That's why it's hard to be positive. It's hard to find the good in things because the bad is always, you know, the most obvious. But we have to train ourselves to think more positively, more clearly. We have to have a proper balance between positive and negative thinking. And you can't completely ignore the positive things about yourself. And you can't think that because one person doesn't like you that you're not worth it as a person. And so there's a lot of things that contribute to our loneliness. I think social media is probably making us more isolated than what we would be otherwise, because social media gives us this illusion of like having real connections with people, but the physical connection, like when you're actually in the same physical space as somebody else, you're not just seeing them through a screen. I think that usually is a lot different of an experience, and it's more significant, and I think that we should seek out these real life interactions more than the online ones. And yeah, the other reason why people might be lonely is simply because they haven't really tried as much to really reach out to people. Now maybe you have. I don't know each and every one of you who's watching this video. I don't know how much you've tried to make friends, but for me, I always complained about being lonely, but yet I never actually do things. I never actually go out and, you know, people have recommended things like going out and joining clubs or doing different online things to reach out to people, you know. I've made many videos on this channel talking about my experience with having no friends and feeling lonely, and I've been overwhelmed lately with the responses from people to realize that there are thousands of people out there who all feel lonely. And I'm pretty sure that loneliness is something that everybody can experience at some point in their life. And I just want to say, like, lately, I've been, like, not really sure about this whole YouTube thing because, I don't know why, I just kind of lost motivation to upload stuff. But recently, I got a huge response from people. And I got an overwhelming number of just people who left like really great comments telling me that everything's fine, that they like my videos, that they get something out of them. And I want to say thank you so much for the support. I want to say thank you for all the recent support. My channel is doing so great right now, and I want to make sure that it keeps getting better. And just so you know, like, I'm here talking about stuff, but there's a lot of people in the comments that are probably in the same position as you. Right? People who struggle with self-esteem, struggle with feeling lonely, depression, all this sort of stuff. And I'm here to talk about these things because I know that this is a big deal. People need to feel better. People want to live better. People want to meet people. And all the people who watch my videos are great people. And I want to just say that, you know, I want to keep doing these videos. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Please check out the playlist that I have of all these loneliness videos. I'm trying to talk more and more about this subject because of how big of a deal it is. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the video, hit the like button on this video if you liked it, just so I know that you watched the whole thing. And that'll help me out a lot, guys. Thank you so much. Leave a comment down below. What are your experiences with loneliness? Why do you think that people feel lonely? And what do you think we can do about it? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. I wish you the best.